and you are hosting this today.
Yes, and there are restrooms out front if you make a right out of these doors, and I got some more water, so if you need one, feel free to go back and get one. Wayne is going to do just a quick run through of how to fill this out monthly. If you could hold all questions until the end, jot them down on your sheet as he's going, that would be great, so we don't have any interruptions. And then at the end, if you have a specific question about one of these tabs, he'll go back to it and answer those. And if you haven't turned in your Campbell County contract, please do so afterwards. And then, I don't know if everybody got theirs.
Ours, and see Susan at the end.
Okay. And once Judge Pendry signs it, I will scan you a copy of it. I think that's all. Wayne's gonna
Well, you both have brought up contracts, everybody probably wonder where mine are.
probably.
You're a month into it already.
We're good for the month. Kansas County has upgraded my computer, upgraded my program, so I have the most advanced everything, most costly thing, except I don't have any way of turning anything into a PDF. That's supposed to happen in the next day or two. They had to upgrade to the newest Adobe. I use Adobe Pro because I make forms with it. So as soon as that happens, probably about the middle of the week, I think in my earlier emails when I sent out tentative allocations, I tell you your program allocations and your coverage, so you're good. But I had to do that in an email as opposed to PDFs because it didn't work in the web upgrades. So if I may, I'll just kind of recap what they've already said. I'm going to go over this kind of quickly, in about 10 minutes, and just show you what will happen, how many cells, and take that last handout we gave, the single page. It says that there's X number of this kind of cells, and that's what I'm going to go through. I'll just start to kind of give you a general feel, and then we'll get into deeper questions. So,
And once this draft is completely finalized, we will send out a final version, so don't hold on to that previous one that was sent out, please. Thank you.
Can everyone hear me all right? On the far side, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. What I'm going to do is switch first. There's a handout. This handout for the monthly reimbursement request you all have. And what I'm trying to do here is just show you how many cells will really get involved. The setup is completed once a year at the beginning of the fiscal year. Do you have a handout? Does everyone have a handout? Hold up your hand if you don't have one. And somebody will bring you a handout. Just hold up your hand. Okay. It's again one of those last minute. This is dynamic. We're going on a roll. We'll be making changes, and both the human service representatives will mark up as we find errors, which I'm capable of. I can make cells add up. I can't always get the spell right. It's not a problem. It's just the truth. Okay. The setup. You're going to have two cells. Of those two cells, some of us call it tan, some of us call it golden. It will be different on your computer. You're going to select the agency name from the drop-down menu. Now that agency name will have on the end of it what county it will represent. Why would I do that? Because that will bring up your vendor number and your account number, and it will place it throughout the document. That tells the treasurer's office what account to take it out. So we don't have to look it up each month and write it in. You don't have to look it up and write it in. It's going to be automated. And if I would have allowed you to type it in, if you leave a dot off, it won't look it up that way. It has to be, computers are smart as long as you do everything exactly the way they want it done. So here's, now, the second item you're going to do, and we're right here, we're going to do the program name that's selected from the drop-down menu. And some of these aren't going to be exactly the way you had on the application because I made some alterations. Why would I do that? I'm in charge of the program. For instance, if you have meals, you may have a long meal for it. I just put the word meal, comma, is it hot, chilled, or cold? You pick the closest one. If there's something that doesn't match your program description, let me know. We'll work it back in there. Okay? And again, I'll go through those in a little bit. There are going to be 7 yellow cells. The unit cost, the allocation, that's the amount that we've given you for that particular program. The contact names of your organization, 2 contact names, and their email addresses. In the client list, it is a required, and you're going to have to be eligible, you're going to have 5 cells. You're going to have the type of funding. Most of you won't change that, okay? But some of you will. We can get into that detail a little later. We'll kind of skim over through the first round. Zip code you need. First name, last name. Now, under first name, last name, we do allow you to put initials under the first name and under the last name to put a case number. That's in the program. We prefer the names and unless you're really required by HIPAA not to release that. But you'll have to send us that list or have it available for us later. After receiving the payment, this is going to have to happen 30 days afterwards. You're going to go to the authorization report, you're going to put the amount that you received. We may have sent you a check for too much. We may have sent you a check for not enough. We may not have sent a check. Because when you send it to me and I authorize it, it goes in for payment. I don't find out until 2 weeks later, they canceled the physical court meeting, and that wasn't processed. I didn't know it didn't go out. So what I'm trying to do is open a communication that we know that you're paid up. I don't want anybody not to draw down the money that's available for, not only I, but the other candidates. So a couple quick tips. If you need to enlarge the type size on your screen or make a selection, you want to drop down menu, easy to read. Most of you probably know this. You can hold the control button. That's that CTRN or L button. Spelling deficient there, huh? And you can scroll in and out to make it bigger. So anytime you're working on your own personal computer, size it to fit your computer and it just starts flowing a little bit easier. Next quick tip, to hide program or monthly columns, you can select the columns and you'll see that I have done this in the sample. While on my screen it worked fine having all 13 months up there, when I got here, the print wasn't big enough for everybody to see, so I hid, I don't know, 8 or 9 months. And I'll show that in a minute. If you want to find something, item C, if you want to find somebody by last name, by case number, you can, again, hit the Control F button. A box will come up where you can type in the name or the case number and it will go right to that person. I have another way to sort that too, but I don't want to get into that in the screen. I'll show that at what I would call the training section after we go through the quick. Right now I'm just doing a summary. If you want to go to a particular program number, up in the left-hand corner, usually we know them as what cell we're in. So if we're in cell C14, it says C14 up in that corner. Well, if you use that drop-down box, it'll say Program 1. It'll take you right to Program 1 or certain other areas, because as we get deep in the list, I get tired of scrolling up, paging up, so it's just nice to have those quick shortcuts. We'll go through that, maybe more in the advanced section. To print, it's pretty simple. You're going to do your authorization report, you're going to do a print review, make sure everything fits on one page. I realize that everybody's got different printers and that it could be an issue, and I can adjust that for you if it's a problem, but you should be able to print on one page. I don't want to see come in with a second page with half a column or 2 columns on another page. I can't work with that. I want to sign one document and turn it in for 1 to 6 programs. And I'm going to stop right there because that's just the quick notes, and I think as you see this, when we open this up, the first thing it tells us to do is this is your monthly reimbursement request, or MRR as I will refer to it because I got so tired of spelling out the full title. Can be used for up to 6 programs that are funded. I hate reading this, but I want to show you. That's why I don't like to go to presentations where they read everything on the screen. I'm going to do this because a couple of these are important. The first thing you're going to do is to track your this file for that county, for a particular county. You may only be funded by one county, but all you're going to do is go to File, Save As, and it'll be different. This is version 2010 Excel. I've used 2013, and I can back date or to 97 to 2003 if anybody needs it. But anyway, you'll just go to File, Save As. It'll come up here, and you can see I've already saved it, and I've got it in a particular format. Why would I use that format? Kenton, MRR, in the fiscal year. It tells me right away that this is a bill for me from you all, because I'm going to see your email address. Now I know what the file name is, and then when I save it, I can find it quickly. For you to find it, it'll be the same thing. If If you need to change that to Boone, you just type in Boone, it will be saved as Boone now. So on and so forth, very simple. There are actually 3 tabs, but 2 in particular that we're working with. The first one is the directions, which we're already on, and the setup data, that's at the bottom, that you will need to use. And the other 2 are client lists, where you put in the client's name, and zip code, and the number of units under a particular month. And then the authorization report, which you'll only put the payment you've received. That's what we'll be printing out, verifying that you've received all your payments, sign it, turn it in for reimbursement check. The cell colors, again, I did not set this up to be pretty. No one could claim this is pretty. I know it's not, but it's functional. And when you're trying to teach something, when you're trying to relay what I want you to understand, that a cell color is a drop-down box. I colored it tan. Some people saw it as gold, so it's tan gold, whatever you want to call it. That's a drop-down menu. You see that color is a drop-down menu. If it's black, blue, or gray, you can't change it or shouldn't be able to change it because it's a formula or it's a title. So we're looking mainly at white and light pale green cells that you'll be able to change, and then maybe an occasional white. We'll get into that. So that's what the cell colors do. If you need to go back again, the first thing you're going to do is print this page. You need to have this. I can't tell you how many times people they call me and ask a question. It's right on the directions page. Please print that out and have it for you. Second, you're going to go to the tab called Directions and Setup, which we're at. You're going to go to cell B50, which is below. I'm going to page everything on this is page up or page down 1, 2. I'm now in this section where we can do the data. So now that you know this, you're going to just open it up. You're going to go directly here. And I'm going to use BWAC from the list. As you can see, BWAC for Boone, Campbell, Kenton. And if I page down, you'll see, or hopefully you'll see your agency. If your agency is not there, that's not funny. But you can't say not funny because it's just not funny. It was an error on our part. We'll fix it. Just let me know if it's not there because you may be new to the program and we need to get you a vendor number and account number. A lot of this data was brought over from the applications last year and from existing programs. Okay, so I'm going to page back up to the top and I'm going to select and show the millions and millions of dollars that they have. No, just kidding. Kidding. It's just a name. Okay, so now for the program. Again, the color on this screen, I can tell you on this screen, this is yellow here. Here, this looks more, anybody want to guess? Okay. Yeah. Is this tan or gold? I don't know. Gold. Okay, we got a majority gold. This is supposed to be yellow. It's yellow on this screen, yellow. Up here, it's some other color. Okay. So what we're going to do is pick a program number. We're going to drop it down. And I happen to know that if I page you down, I can find they're supported. You cannot type it in. I wish it was that smart. It's not supported employment in one of the programs. We're going to put in the unit cost, the county unit cost, not the actual agency unit cost, but the cost on the application. We'll take a guess that it's $10 when I hit enter. One of the things you'll notice is the way this is set up, it moves to the right, okay, when I do an entry. I may have to show you how to do that on your computer, so most of you probably know, so it moves like right, and it's easier. I'm going to say that they got allocated $1,000, it may have only been $1, I don't know. So we are now done with selecting the agency name for Kenton County, the supported program, and I'm going to just, everybody knows how to put in somebody's name here, their email address, and the phone number. This will shrink as you put in your longer numbers, cell numbers. Just one number, please. Okay, where did the data go and how does this work? Now we're going to go to the client list. It has now showed up here as the agency. The supported program has showed up here. Note, as I said before, I hit a lot of the columns here. So I'm showing June of last year now, fiscal year. That means the month that we're in right now for Kenton County will be paid out just 16 months. Everybody familiar with that? That wasn't my idea. I was told that's the way it was going to be, and I had to execute it. Some people shake their head. I can't help it. We have 13 months in our year in Kenton County, so just please live with it. Actually, the fiscal quarter dollars run from June 1st to July, I'm sorry,
July 1st, right?
yes,
July through
June
June.
30th, yes, the actual fiscal. But they wanted to make sure that all the dollars came in, more of a cash basis, yeah. And I'm getting all tracked, so I'm getting more detail on one. But anyway, you can see that I've hidden these programs because even in my alphabet, the way I spell J to T doesn't work. Okay, we've hid those. And if I want to unhide them, I highlight both, and I click unhide, and it expands it, and then it gets impossible to show anybody what I want. If you make a mistake, you should have an undo button up here, and it will reverse it back the way it's supposed to look. Okay. Now, the name's filled in, the vendor number automatically filled in, the fund, unit, and account number is filled in for this agency. The names are carried over in the email. This particular report, I never intended anybody to ever want to print it. It was just to tally the numbers. But there were requests to be able to print it, so again, more changes had to be made. I have a client, his name is this, and his last name is similar. He's in zip code, I love this stuff. I can make it up, I'm in charge. I happen to know 4101 is in Kenton County, so when I put that address, it tells me that it is in Kenton, I'm good. If I am typing down the list of new clients and I pop in that number, oops, that's Boone. He doesn't qualify. So I need to make a mark on my list or my cards or whatever I'm doing that that's not a Kenton County client. That goes on the Boone County record. So again, I'm going to just go back and zero that out. One other thing I'm going to look at is here, this is a change if the client received federal or state funds or copay. To the majority of you, that means nothing. If you put on your application, that the federal money coming in for this program, the state money, whatever other money it is, it comes in as revenue, then I don't need to know that that's, again, because it's already been calculated. But there are agencies that keep that money separate and fund clients separate. Now I need to know whether that person is getting state or federal money. The majority will not have to work with that. Okay. Next. If there was a copay though, I would click copay. Now how many units did this person use? We'll use 10. Everybody can do 10 times 10, that's $100. Year to date, it's $100. We all agree on that? I'm going to go to, and I only have one client this month, and I'm done. So I'm going to go to, I can now hit send and send it to the payroll and hope he's happy. This carried over on the authorization report. What I will do is I'll look here, I see it's $100, $100 total, and it's the program name is now here, right? Supported employment. Each program, as you change it, will change, and you add more programs if you need to, will change automatically. What's it say here? I am now going to do something I hate doing, but I think you need to see that. It says, receive check. That's a formula that I have in here. Well, you couldn't have received the check because you just now don't. But next month, when you go back for the same client, and maybe it's August, you didn't do anything for him. I'll put in 20, and now we've got 10 times 20 units, and we've got $200. Okay, total 30 units a day, $300, because 30 times 10, $300. Now we look at the authorization report. I just knocked out another request in. I'm going to look, because I didn't do this very well last year, and I paid some of you too much, too quick, is I'm going to look at my sheets from the accounting system and see if a check was sent to you. In all truthfulness, that sometimes the time you send a bill or to me, they're passing. It's over there to be paid. You send it to me a day or two ahead of time, and you don't know. But I have that responsibility. We'll take that on, and we'll check with you. And if I see that you've been paid, then what I'll do is go up here, and I'll put $100. So I know, let me back off, because I want to show you this. As I scroll down a little bit, see this circle, red circle? Mm-hmm. This is where the I is supposed to go and what to pay. Now, I put the word possible amount due. Again, the reason is, there may be a couple checks that you received, and I wanted to make sure that each of us check on our end in resources. So what I've done, I already had one agency fill this out. It's been filled out, turned into me yesterday for partial payment is something that the judge executive agreed to do. And what I was able to do is, where it says possible, the word possible, I just put a line through it, put the word pay, I go over and initial it to the left, look, authorization, I initial it here, sign it, date it, I turn it in, it's done. Now in this case, I'm gonna scroll back out, doing what I promised myself I wouldn't do because this is irritating. If I found that they had been paid $100, I would put that in for them, and you see it's reduced to $200. I'll probably send them an email, just let them know that the check's on its way, and we're all good. So it's a communication that I think was lapsing for years. Last year, I think I did a little bit better, got pretty good the last 6 months. And the summary sheet really kind of captures it. If you get an overpayment, let's say somebody sent you, because they can't read my handwriting, $1,000, well, you get $700 too much. I can do one of two things. You hold that money because I know you're going to use it up next month. Or, please send it back if I'm in trouble. Okay, so it's, again, a way we can all communicate. That, and I'm not sure exactly how long, I think I went 15 minutes, because I expanded a little bit more than I wanted to. But that's the quick and dirty of getting the information in. So now, the second part, I'm going to add a second program. If, in this case, we go to work, I page down, I'm going to page all the way down to somewhere around the W's, and the work permit is $5, and they again get another $1,000. The same client, I'm going to go from here, I must go up and go to the right. Work services now there, okay? Work services. In July, they did 10 of those. It's calculated. Now, did I use the same person maybe? I did not, because I labyrinth and not looking. Should have been on the same line, because it needs to have something associated with it. So it's the same person. I don't have to enter that again. When I go to the authorization report, we now have this thing that says program 2. You can see I changed the program numbers and didn't change I did this morning at 6:30. So what I should have had this showing up, I think that's in that. Well, did I just do that backwards?
Yes.
Okay, anytime you have an error,
That
that's
should
what
be
the
right
backup
under
button's for.
escape.
Yeah. So
So
it's never a problem until it's a problem. So anyway, that'll be fixed, because what I did was, here, I had to scrunch this down, and I quickly moved the allocation numbers down, and I know I have some patches, so it's dynamic. I love that work. It's a work in process. I'll fix it, I promise. Okay, so, but when we go to the authorization, the name will show up here, and all the totals will eventually show up in these columns. Again, it can't look it up because I don't have the right name or formula yet, but it will. So that is the simple. Now to the more advanced. I'll stop right now and ask if there's any questions. Pause, yes.
Where are the copay dollars? Is there a section somewhere to enter copay dollars? If you get
Perfect.
copay dollars?
Now we're getting into the advanced questions. In the copay received, in this particular month, there should be somebody as units. Let me back up to where there are units. Let's say you got a $5 copay from this person. Okay. Bob name in there. So Bob, case number T1111, has a copay of $10. What happened? It just took $5 off this, right? You receive money because they're paying part of the unit cost. So that's where the copay goes in. It also will carry over, if it didn't, into this copay column, right here, total is. Fairly simple. Next thing, let's say you have 10 of these. I'm just going to copy these numbers down like they're in order. Well, I'll do these different. Let's say you have a database and you want to enter information quickly. Here, you want to put them in this format. First name, last name, zip code. Copy. Oops, copy. Go back to your client page. and you paste it. It's just verified all the email addresses or zip codes and verified them to the left. I just have to change this if there's any funding for that person. Now, again, this is only a sample I set up as a database. I'll do away with it. It's actually there for zip code quick reference. I'll show you that since we're doing advanced stuff. If you wanted to type this out. This is an order by zip code. This is the city that's most associated with. Sometimes it's associated with other cities. Try figuring it out, it's such insane. This is Possible County, so I call Boone County. Now here's one Boone, Fort County. They could be in either one, you're gonna have to verify it. Yes, it's tough to figure out. So anyway, what I've shown here is that over there will be deleted. Okay, so you now let's copy the units for that same group of people. So they're in the same order, units. For this particular month, I hit paste. It's now calculated the units and carried over. Again, I've moved columns around, heading fields, so that you can do this quickly as I can allow for it and have feedback. Yes,
How many clients fields can you?
600.
Okay.
If you need more, I can give you more.
Like our programs, the same clients will never utilize both programs?
That's fine.
So you'd have to have one program, like
No,
clients
it's-
in their program? and
It's
then-
just one client list
Right,
and then whatever program they're using.
okay.
So in this case, and then the other thing too, is when you look at, this is gonna be scary, I didn't test this. Yeah, I know, I love doing this to myself. I've hidden columns, but this would be what the client list would look like on if you're gonna print it, the way I've got it set up right now. I can expand that so all columns show up. Hello? I was missing that. I knew I needed something to break the action. Okay. See what I've done? This is manually set. Because what do I mean by manually set? Let me get back to work. If you want to print an area, I think we all know this. If you just highlight it, an area, you can go to page layout, print set to print. That's one way. But what I've tried to do is because somebody wanted sorting. Yes, please do not stand up. I don't want to know who you are. It really is a nice feature, but it can be confusing. So I had to put this in here. This is my disclaimer. I warned you. Caution, to enable this sort feature, all cells below are not protected. Click undo it. Mistake is made. See that? I just deleted that. If you delete your data, pay attention, please. But you do have an undo button. Just reverse it. Comes back in. Not a big deal. Why did we want this sorted? Because somebody says, quite rightly, I had set this up originally, then I was told it's too complicated, confusing everybody. Okay, I'll take that. Let's say I want to print this and I don't want the blanks to show it. Now I just sorted by last name, right? So now when I go up to my print preview, I don't have to set the area. It just prints what I've got shown there. I know many of you are used to that, but I just like saying it. Or, let's do another thing. Remember I talked about the search. I'm going to clear it. Now we're down to 600 lines. If you print this and you do not have your print area set, you will get a bunch of blank pages and it's just, you're going to hate yourself. It's not my fault. I've warned you. If I'm looking for somebody, and this list is 6 times long, I can go, Carol, look at that. Type a few letters, it comes in. That's one way to find. I'm going to reverse that, put it back the way it was. The other way, I'm double reversing, I love that. Okay, the other thing you can do, Control F, that was in the earlier, and I'm looking for a particular person. Everything with the word car, it goes right to the cell. It can be confusing because it may get down into my data that I have hidden that you're not supposed to see just now. And you won't be able to see it later. I talked about getting, if you're down deep into an area, see this is caution, required data hidden. You won't see that later. But for today, I needed to get as much information on the screen as I could. Yes?
Simple question.
Yes.
I noticed that you do not have a signature line for us.
I don't need a signature line.
Okay.
Because
I-
we're submitting it.
because you're submitting it, I got your email address, and I trust you.
Okay.
I know where you work.
All
So,
right.
so everything's email, yes.
What about narratives?
Those will be in a separate package. Please don't put them with this.
This is just the budget.
Yeah, just put narrative.
Okay.
For me, the other counties may want it different. I like two separate ones. That way, when I see an email come in, what I do is I mark it and I put it up, bills to pay. I've got a mailbox set up to pay, and I put a flag on it. I try to print them out as I'm going. Sometimes I cannot because I have other deadlines. And once I get them in that mailbox, flagged, I know to go back and get them. So that helps me if it's just that one document. Yes?
So for June, since you're on a different funding cycle than the other counties, do you want us to use this new form, or do you want us to complete the older form?
If you can use this form, I already had one agency turn in, as I said, I asked for a little input. I said, how long did it take you to figure out? Because we didn't have a demonstration. I didn't have anything to work with other than, some quick drafts I put together. Would you mind, Brian, telling what your experience was? You have to stand up and speak loud, please.
Whenever we did it, I just pulled the information, the case numbers, the ID numbers out of the database, copied and pasted it into here. It's a 5-minute thing. I mean, once you collect the data, if you can get the data from your Excel database or your Microsoft Office database, all it is plugging it in. It was pretty simple. 5 minutes.
And that was the first time you've ever used it.
Yeah, that was the first time that I used it.
Thank you.
So for our
Yes.
fiscal year 16 budget, we're gonna start billing you in June,
If
Is
you
that
have units that have been used, yes,
for June period.
for June.
right?
Yes.
So, okay.
And this new copy will be going out with any changes, hopefully by mid next week. I'd like to get it out earlier, but any changes that I hear that I need to make today, we'll just keep fine tuning it, correcting my spellings. Yes,
We have two different programs. In the past, we've just submitted from those programs to you separately. You want this all in one form now?
yes.
Okay.
It'll be a one form, one agency, one form, but that will go to each county that way.
Right,
Okay.
absolutely.
That way, when I sign it, I'm not signing 62 programs independently, checking, verifying. I look at one number because we have all the money for most counties, or for all 3 counties, comes out of one account number. It varies, that account number per county. But now that I know that, I get it all on one sheet, and it's quick. Okay. So I probably did the control fine, which I don't like. The other thing I wanted to show you, I talked about in my quick reference, all set up. Okay? That's back to the directions of the client list. Well, let's see, I want to enter for program 1. That's back to program 1. If I want to get program 2, I can't go any higher because I've hid the other program. But also, if I have a comment, oh, I can't say like that. I can put it there so that it just as a note to self, yes. I don't want to say fine job in front of everybody. So here we go. These drop down menus, and then you even see that I got pinned data. See, you can't see that, can you? And this is where a lot of these drop down menu boxes, they posted here, they posted someplace else, zip codes are looked up. You can't read them, doesn't make any sense down there because I originally had it all set up in a separate tab because 2010, maybe even I know 2013 allows me to use other sheets. When I tried to reverse it back to 2003, it doesn't like that. I had to put it on one sheet. I've got somebody up here that's telling me what I already know, that has experienced it. It's a problem. So again, it's a metamorphosis. We're trying to make it work in all areas, and it could be different for you. Okay? So if you want to go back to the top corner, it'll bring you back to this corner. If you need the program data, it goes here. Page up or down. As soon as you come down, just one row past your where it's sealed here, all your data comes available to you. One thing I wanted to point out too is sorting. You want them alphabetical? Did we do that yet? Alphabetical. How about that? CDEF. You want them by zip code sorted. if that's a case number, you can sort it. But any of these can be sorted, and you can also do something like, I shouldn't show you this because somebody will do this. See this little white spot? I wonder what that is. I wonder what that is. Well, if I deselect it, now let's see. Well, it only has all blank, so I can't mess it up. But I'm sure I'll be able to later. But if you select the wrong area, let's say you want everything that, you just deselect that. Well, it won't let me do it. I'm trying to make a mistake here. Okay, if I say bring only the $20 one up, now a couple days later, I want to put more data in, and I can't get to my blank lines. Clear the filters. Filters can be anywhere. See that little filter there? And you can't, let me blow that up. There's a little bitty filter right on that button. Sometimes they're hard to find, especially if somebody filters something that's supposed to be hidden. So there is a place you can go to that says data, filter, clear. Now see that red X in the filter? It looks dangerous. I couldn't wait to push that. I still had data. But for months I stayed away from that because that was new to me when it first showed up and accept. Yes, sir.
Usually at the very last entry, it's an odd, it doesn't, you have your amount that the county's awarded you, but then
Yes.
when you take one times the other,
Yes.
you have, it doesn't
Yes.
work out. How do you handle that very last?
Well, let's try that. In program one, we'll, how many dollars do I have
I didn't
allocated?
hear the question.
I have, I'm sorry?
I didn't hear the question all the way over here.
The question is, when you get down to a certain number of units and you're, in the old form, sometimes you had to go 1.2999 units in order for it to calculate out to get your last drawdown. Well, I hope I have built into here that it looks to see what your allocations are, and it says, yes, I understand you spent more than that, but here's what we're going to pay you. And this will, hopefully, this demonstration will show.
So even every month subsequent to when we've already drawn
Yes.
everything down, we're still reporting all the information,
Yes.
but there's not going to be any payment
There may not be any payment,
because we've already used our allocation.
used it up,
But
exactly
we're still
right.
reporting on a monthly basis.
In other words, this report goes on throughout the year. There may be payment associated with it, may not be. So here, we know the allocation was $1,000. That was only the setup data. And now I'm going to try to bring it all the way down because I see that year to date, is that right? I've used 465. So I'm going to bill him, did I spend? Yeah. See, now I've spent $1,465. I think I tested this before, I hope I did. So when it goes over the authorization report, what's our number right here? 515. What it sees is it brings this number in and says, the most I can give you out of that 1,500 you just asked for. Did I ask for that? Yeah. It is this amount, this is the balance remaining. So it does calculate that for you. So far. After I make more changes, I may step on a formula and somebody may say, Wayne, doesn't work anymore. But we can fix it, I promise. Yes?
On the authorization report, when it says agency dollars received, would we put it in the month we received it or the month that it was for?
I would prefer, let's say you were...
You want to
You
repeat
were
the
two-
question, Wayne?
Yes, I'm sorry. The question is when do you put in the amount? For instance, like this shows $50 for July, and the next month is $200. So what if you turn in both bills sometime in September? Well, any time is fine, but I'd rather you show that you've got the money for that month. Let's try it. Let's say you got 0 here because you didn't pay anything then, but you got 250 here. So you've received 1,250 of the 1,500 that you requested, and I can only pay you 265 of it. So it does adjust itself out. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
Yes, if there's.
Stand up and say loud, please, if you would. Thank you.
If there's an administrative layer involved in reimbursement,
Yes, sir.
how is that best put to this form?
Well, the administrative form, if you have, for instance, if your agency charges 10% to handle X number of dollars of units. That should be built into your unit cost. So if your unit cost is $4, 10%, $4.40. There is another point that I need to make. Let me go back to that. We, again, trying to allow for everybody's nuances, and because I love setting myself crazy, we have an area here where you can make adjustments. See this? Now, I squeezed this earlier, and apparently it doesn't like the fact that my drop-down menu, but what this says is that you need permission to change this. We'll see. Apparently I don't. But what we will do is erase your data. So if I reverse it, we know that it's $10, but let's say that you have an administrative fee, and it's 10%. I can put that in here at $10.10. Well, if I was typing it. I brought my keyboard so I wouldn't make any mistakes. That didn't work out. So again, it adjusted. We've allowed flexibility. One other thing you'll notice that it does is it counts up here the number of clients. It looks down and sees the number of units. You don't have to calculate that anymore. You don't have to count. Hopefully we'll have accurate numbers. Now, why would it change here? New clients. Well, you may have to put a number in here. You may have to put, I got one new client this month because I can't calculate that. But the next month, I see a difference. There's a question mark because this formula right here is seeing that you've gone to 0. So did you lose? Do you want to put a number in here? It's asking you a question. It's a pale green cell, so you can change that number. This is to relate to us. Yes, we did get one more. I don't know how you got one more because you don't have any units here. So again, it's leaving some flexibility, yes.
And in the past, there's been connected to like the amount of clients served, the amount of clients served in the county that are not getting fiscal court funds, that comparison. Is there a spot for that on here?
This is only to draw down money from
Right.
County. The application,
Still has that?
yes.
Okay.
And that's what we were trying to do, is separate what is we need monthly. Because the old monthly report, if you ever filled it out, and I've checked many of them, most were inaccurate, wanted to know, year to date, clients, year to date, duplicated, unduplicated for every county went to that. I only need to know how much I owed you that month, and where did it go? Are we serving this one client? I want to make sure that the client's not counted 4 times because you have one client getting 3 services, not 3 clients. And it can be listed that way and properly. Nobody's cheating, it's just my order of things in my mind. Doesn't mean I'm right or wrong, it's just kind of the way we've agreed to set this formula. Next question, yes, in the back, sorry. Yes.
Do I understand that even if we have taken all of our funds and they're gone, we should still fill this report out all the way through?
Well, I think I'll let each county representative speak to that. I'm going to tell you, I don't want to see it. Although, if you want to show it to me, I'll take it. But I prefer not to because I have so much coming in. It's best for me not to. It's good for you if you want to keep track of your units, and this works for you. That's fine. The other counties, I think, like to see that report going on. Okay, after the funds are expended? Can we hear from Boone County? So once you've expended your funds, you're done. Now, most all allocations are set up based on that the application. All units, we are buying some portion, either 100% or 1% of the unit cost. So if you have $10,000 in expenses and $10,000 people that you're taking care of, that's $1 a unit. And if you're getting all that money from us, we're $1 a unit. If you're getting half of it, 50 cents, from another agency fundraising, then we're making 50% of every client in Kenton County. There is no unpaid or unsub group of people. We are giving some portion, if we can afford it. It's never enough, but that's it. I'm sorry, you had a question earlier. Do you still have it?
Yeah, it's just about the section about the federal and state funds. So
Yes.
what exactly goes in there? Is this if the client receives any services that are
If on your application, you listed that you receive foundation funds as revenue, if you receive state funds as revenue, you don't need to touch this. Unless you've got a copay. There are some agencies that we deal with that the client pays them some portion because they have the wherewithal to pay it. And you all particularly know that. But for those agencies who keep their state money separate, but they make, from the federal money, don't put it on their application, and they're saying, well, we have Ed Carroll here on state funds. Oh, wait a minute, we ran out of state funds, we also need to give him fiscal court funds for one or two of the programs, I don't care what it is, just any amount, then you would just simply go, oh, he gets a little copay, or no, wait a minute, federal only, that's what it is, it's federal, or whatever it is. So what's that indicate? That not how much, not how often, it's just that we have communicated that this person has gone from maybe Title III funds to fiscal court funds, or that one program may be of that group, federal, and the other one may be fiscal court funds. This is probably more in particular specific to case management, maybe.
Case managed services.
Services, good.
Yes.
I'll never get it right.
Yeah, so if they change their funding source somewhere in the fiscal
Yes.
year,
Yeah.
then
Yes.
this would be indicated there.
Next question, Connie,
On that same category,
would you stand up please and shout it out?
same category, you have federal, state funds, co-pays. Co-pay is a fee, is that the same thing as a fee? And then our agency subsidizes that program, so that's not in there at all.
No.
Whatever we don't
No.
get, you
Well,
know?
all we're asking, because I believe on your application, you list revenues as fees,
Uh-huh.
any foundation funds that you get, any other funds. So it's already calculated as part of your unit cost. If you were keeping it separate, saying, oh, the state requires us to report theirs separate and I can't put it on your sheet, okay, fine, but I need to at least know that that person's getting it. We want to make sure there's not a duplication of payment. Yes?
How do we input it if our unit costs can vary between different clients?
Between different clients?
I work for people working cooperatively and we do home
Okay.
repairs for clients. So it's a different cost if you put in a water heater versus an
Yes.
HVAC repair.
I would say for this is my idea because I'm trying to get out of a very tight spot that you just put me in. What I think I would do is for that month, let's say you had 3 clients, and one was 200, another was 200, another was 600, you got $1,000 for 3 households, or 6 clients, however you count. You divide that into your total cost, you now have a unit cost, you put that unit cost, you'll have varying unit costs, right there. So, again, let's go back, I said that if you had, let me come up with a, did you understand what I was trying to do? Okay. If you're going to change it,
Put our total dollars in and divide that out
Yeah.
by the number of clients to get the average.
yeah, if you have 3 clients, $300 a piece, well, that's an average. Again, it's just a total by the number of units for that month. But I can go to another spreadsheet, or contact me later, and I'll help you. Any other questions? Yes? I'm sorry.
On the listing going down to the copay, federal copay, copay and federal state, if we're not doing any of those, can those lines be deleted?
You don't have to do a thing with it, because it automatically picks county only.
Okay,
It'll always say county only unless there's an exception.
okay.
And that's the trouble. I know a lot of you are seeing different things, but these are all the different little nuances each program, each funding, each agency has, and now we're heading to put it all in one sheet. I think it'll become clear after you use it once. Any other questions? Yes?
On a client list question, we don't currently use case numbers, and in the past, you allowed us to use the full first name and last name initial. And when you were doing the description, you said first name initial. Can we continue to use?
Yes.
Okay.
What I'm trying to do is say, yes, we want to know the first and last name, if it's allowable under your HIPAA. Most are not really HIPAA regulated. But otherwise, use the initials in the first one and put your case number in the second. So if I
I don't
have,
have a case number, can I
Okay.
say Jane H?
however you can identify it so that when we come in, and look at that list and want to do a monitoring, that you have it.
Okay.
Okay. Yes,
Can we just do the case number and no first initial? I mean,
Yes.
leave the first name blank.
in your particular case, yes.
Thank you.
Yes. And again, that's going to vary depending on what that agency is reporting on. I happen to know their programs, yes, sir. Stand up, please.
Total allocation
Yes.
built into the, when you select the actual grant.
You'll have to put that on.
Okay, the allocations, let's go back to here. If I want to go back to my setup, it's going to be right here, the allocation's going to be here.
You'll make it.
I guess I could put a little total there, because that might be on the contract. That's something I could add later. But what that does is the allocation for each program then carries over into a total. So if you need to transfer money, at least in Kinston County, I don't have to go to the fiscal court. All you have to do is send me an email. Wayne, I want to transfer money from this program to that. And then I'll ask why. Just give me a brief description. I don't need a lot of detail. Because why? It's all in the same account number. There are a couple of agencies that have mental health funds and senior funds. I can't transfer between those. It has to be in the same fund group, same account number. And I'll speak to that because I believe that young lady is here that has a senior, yeah. What you'll have to do is when we get to this application process, if you have two programs that you're going, you can go in here because we've allowed that and change your vendor number will stay the same, but the account number may be different because seniors are going to be one part and mental health will be a second. Okay, so again, we allow you to override that because it's pale green. I can't allow for every situation, or you can send in a second, but this would be easier. Okay. Other questions? Hands up? Yes, Tom, I'm sorry.
Well, I probably know the answer to that. We're going to build this client list probably one time at the beginning of the year. And I'm assuming that if somebody passes on or they go off, you still want to see that name out there, I guess, because even if they didn't have any units for, once you get to several months down the road, just because of the sum totals and things adding up.
Well, the totals will carry over regardless of what you do over on the client list. The totals will carry unless you delete that.
If I received home delivered meals in July, August, September, but I passed on, I don't receive them anymore.
They'll stay on there, they'll just look blank for the rest of the year.
You want those on there. And then, which is probably unique to us, senior services, the center operations. Pretty much nothing changes on that, and with the new farm with Laura with Boone County, and usually what I try to do is just draw down basically 1/12 a month is what I've been doing, and it's not related to clients.
Well, no, it's not, but we'll talk to you and
Okay.
We have secrets we'll share with you.
Yeah.
That means we don't have an answer right now.
No secrets.
Any other questions? Yes.
If we have money left in June for one of the other counties, should we build that the old way and then start this for 16 because
Yeah,
Well,
use the
yeah.
old form for Boone and Campbell County for fiscal year 15. Don't start
To
this
finish
form
that,
until
yeah.
fiscal.
but then submit this to you in July?
Well, actually, you would be submitting, you're correct. To Kinston County, you would be submitting that for June and July.
Right.
Once you finish it. For the other two counties,
I'm
in
gonna
August,
submit the old-
yeah, yes.
Yeah, okay.
So, just for clarification.
Yes.
That question was, we will use this for Kent for June and July of the end, right? That's,
Through June 1st through May 30th, yes.
okay. How much So, for
I fight this every day, I'm trying.
Boone and Campbell,
Yeah.
for the current month's
Yes.
report, we're gonna use the old forms.
Yes.
But for Kenton, for June, the current month, we're gonna use this.
And I'll be sending out this updated form next week, hopefully by Wednesday, unless I erase something that I didn't mean to.
And on that note, Boone County, the deadline for the June 2015 invoices is August 3rd. So it's Monday, August 3rd. So if we receive it past August 3rd, it may not be paid, we may deduct funding from it, depending on how it goes, but we need to have those all in. Everything for June 2015 has to be received by August 3rd, excuse me. So that's the first Monday, the first Saturday.
Yes, sir.
If we've exhausted the allocations, we still need to do the quarterly narrative report as well.
I think the quarterly narrative reports are something that the county representatives would like to see coming. It's short, brief, kind of tells us what's going on. While I'm thinking about what's going on, a lot of times there are agency changes in the finance department, the person giving us these reports, or in the CEO, the president, director. And we don't know until several months or word gets back to some other way. If you would please, in this section right here, there's a little comment section. And you can just type in there, change CEOs, here's the name. Now, some of you will go, well, what good does that do telling you, Wayne? Because we keep telling you the email address and CEOs change, you keep sending it to the other guy. It's true, I do. And the reason is I'm using data from the application that I've set up in a database. And when I get on the fly, trying to meet deadlines, I'll sometimes pull up the old database. I have noted it. It will be changed. But this will help give us some indication that it's going to change.
And
Laura?
I think what we want this form to come from one person within the organization, regardless of how many programs are funded. The narratives, the quarterly narratives, those can come from the different program directors if that's easy. So those are the ones that might know more about the program itself. That will be coming. That's the way of doing county, and I think the town feels the same. So that doesn't necessarily have to come from your finance person. It doesn't make much sense. Most of the times it makes sense for your finance person to be sending us a quarterly narrative report about the program itself.
Any other questions? And again, if you have any questions, email all three of us at the same time. I'd like to have one or two questions at a time, as brief as you can, and I will try to respond. When I get one with 6, 8, 10 and examples and what can't happen, I save that for later. So concise is everything to me. That's why I like emails. I just don't have time to get on the phone and work people through it. I'd like to be friendly. This is my only time of year I get to be friendly after this. It's all emails. Any other questions? 1, 2, 3. We made it almost under an hour, although we officially didn't start until about quarter after. Any closing statements? Oh, repeat that.
Potentially hope to use some of this video, thank you, to have it available on our website if you have some questions to go back through, particularly the first 15 minutes that we tried to go through quickly. If you want to go back through and say, I forget how we toggled through this report or whatever, you can look through that. So we hope to have that available. And if, again, if you have any questions, you can
Hopefully a revised version. Although I think I make a full feature.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.